Whether the E2 entrepreneur could raise capital from other investors, it depends on the total capitalization into the business.
One of the main things for startups is like they're usually trying to raise investments, right? They're trying to get some money from investors, VCs, or whatever. But can you do something with that? Can you use this sort of raising capital part of the E2 application?
Great question. Great question. It's a very important topic because E2 investor visa is an investor visa, and U.S. government expects the foreign citizen to contribute substantial personal capital into the U.S. enterprise. That's one of the main points of the E2 visa is for this foreign treaty national to make a substantial financial contribution to the U.S. economy. So whether the E2 entrepreneur could raise capital from other investors to contribute towards the enterprise, it depends on the total capitalization into the business. The smaller the capitalization, meaning the smaller investment amount into the enterprise, the greater the percentage the foreign citizen E2 investor must contribute his or her personal money. And it's the US government kind of uses an inverse sliding scale to determine the adequacy of the foreign citizen's contribution and whether any contribution for outside investor is permissible. So for example, if the total investment into the venture is on a smaller end of the scale in the low six figure, like 100,000 or around that range, pretty much the US government wants the E2 investor to contribute 100% or close to 100% of the capital contribution to satisfy the E2 substantial investment requirement. But on the other end of the spectrum, if the total capitalization is bigger, let's say over $500,000 or $1 million, in that scenario, the E2 applicant can reduce his or her percentage contribution to as low as 50%, maybe even a little lower. And the remainder could come from contribution from outside investor. The key here is they want the E2 investor to be the primary and substantial financial contributor. And the lower the capitalization, the greater percentage they expect from the E2 applicant. And the higher the capitalization, the more they will allow outside investors to contribute.
Now, one of the reasons why startups really move to the US, or even small ones, is to raise capital there, right? So does having an E2 visa gives you a little advantage or a little step forward in order to find investors in the US?
Absolutely, absolutely. One of the key things that investor will want to know is the personal information of the entrepreneur, the founder. And it's very important for the founder, the entrepreneur, to be able to say, I live and work in the United States and I personally manage and direct the operations of the enterprise. If the entrepreneur founder can't even live here, can't even work in the US to manage and operate the business, that's going to raise a lot of doubts for the investors' point of view. So it's very important that they have E2 visa already, so they have the stability to share with the investors.
Have you seen cases where that actually made a big difference in your experience?
Oh yeah, absolutely, and not just investors, but like business partners and collaborations and business deals, even customers. Some enterprise customers they will not enter into business agreement with the E2 business unless they are sure that the founder, the owner, has the legal right to live and work in the United States. So it is critical for all kinds of reasons: establishing business partnership, getting outside investors, acquiring customers in many circumstances.
For the people that is ready for an E2 visa, what will be the best tip you can give them right now?
I've seen these mistakes over my 25 years experience so far that unnecessarily weakens the visa case and diminishes the chances of visa approval. Sometimes applicants, and it's not their fault, they don't know the legal requirements or E2 visa nuances and complexities. And they'll go ahead and set up the business, invest their money, and I'll discover the fund source is not qualifying. It's coming from some third party. They never took possession control, and the money's already spent. So it's a situation where I cannot reverse what was already done, and we have to start all over again. All the effort, time, money, and energy possibly wasted. So get the right advice, do it right the first time.